All right, hello, hello, hello. Sorry about that. You guys know how it is. As soon as I get started, a million phone calls all of a sudden click in all at once. So that's how it works. All right, so let's get rolling. So markets overall rather flat. Seeing a little bit of yen strength come back in. You're seeing Europe down for the most part. We had some data earlier. Annual inflation is up to 8.9 in the European region. We know that it's 10.1. Things are not necessarily slowing down. Yesterday at FOMC, we did get a little bit more of a dovish tone, but it's interesting. We're right here. You're seeing things like this. Fed minutes were not as dovish as initially read. And this is what happens. They make comments and then people kind of dissect it and are like, well, wait a second. I think that that's what they mean now. So again, I think they've kind of telegraphed their path. If you look at the dollar and things like that, it didn't necessarily move as much, and you're not seeing massive amounts of movement in here. Is kind of how things are rolling. We did get data this morning though that was extremely positive. Philly, and again, I don't know. The Philly and the Empire have been kind of complete opposite ends of the spectrum. It was expected to be negative. Again, Empire got obliterated, and a couple months ago it was Empire getting beat up and Philly was doing well, and then all of a sudden they switched, and now they're switching back again. Up 6.2 is great. Unemployment claims at 2.0 at 250 versus 265 and an adjustment last time. It's funny. Today's data is the exact opposite of everything we've seen for the last week. So it's kind of like, it's one of those things. It's kind of funny, right? Complete role reversal. Where if you look at this, you're like, oh yeah, they're jacking the rates. Look, manufacturing, it's not hurting us there. Unemployment claims are down. We're not hurting the economy. We can keep raising at the same rate that we are. And then here you go, daily. It's way too early to declare victory on inflation. Core services inflation is still rising. And again, 100% right. Remember, core was originally what they were talking about. So yeah, we'll continue to raise rates, to the right, right size it. Food and energy prices are rising high. Housing too, a lot of work doing on inflation. So good. Thankfully, right? Needed to get a little above 3% by year ends daily. 50 or 75 basis points is reasonable for September. So yeah, I mean, they're still rolling forward. And again, man, props to daily today. Actually giving us what they, the correct. Wow. I'm like just blown away. I'm like speechless. You're saying that Palpatine has something to do with it? Absolutely. Palpatine does. Right? Absolutely. Of course, Nero. So Daly's dropping some comments right now that are actually, and again, I believe that these are the right comments. If it was somebody bigger than Daly, would probably have more market movement. But again, she is dead on there, right? It's funny. The markets have a lack of understanding, but consumers understand that rates won't go down after they go up, right? The raise and hold strategy pays off. Feds, the hump shape path or the rates is not what's on my mind. Yeah. So again, talking about what she's talking about is the markets had originally forecast that next year they would do a rate cut. Right, they would do the rate cut, and a couple of them have said, "Oh yeah, that's off the table. We're not doing a rate cut next year. We got more room to go." So, yeah, but again, as far as what we trade today, again, pound yen is the only thing that really has any decent movement, and you can see it's pretty consistent over the last 24 hours. Right, a lot of it's baked in the last 60, but again, people are looking at this and saying, "What the heck do we do with this?" So yeah, so interesting stuff there. Besides that, not too much out there. You're hearing stuff, why China's economy is in trouble and what it means for you, right? As the growth of a major economy slows, it's a result of high inflation, exacerbating. Economists are hoping. Wait, what are they hoping? Are hoping that China will again come to the world's rescue. But this is not 2008 when China's then rapidly expanding economy and huge stimulus unleashed Beijing government. Yeah. Growth and warned it last month that there's a little update now for more expansionary policy making. Yeah. I don't know. They got to play. There's a play there. Anyway, so that's it for today. We have existing home sales coming in, expecting them to be, we'll see if they're more negative than this, just to mess the morning up. Georgia speaking, and then we have the statement of intent tonight. Tomorrow, retail sales. I think retail sales is going to be really the hot button for tomorrow. The pound, obviously, we're seeing weakness pretty much across the board with the pound. Again, with the inflation going over to 10.1, it's like, what does retail sales look like? I feel like we're seeing a lot of pound weakness. If this comes in, it just confirms what we've seen. But man, what if this is like worse? What if this is like a minus 0.5? Yeah. I'd like to see where this runs today. See if we get some dollar strength coming back in now that daily is basically saying, hey, we're still going to raise rates. If we can get some dollar strength up again, maybe this brings us to a level where, again, we have some good opportunity with the pound dollar. So maybe we'll see what it looks like. And then core retail sales tomorrow at 8:30. Oh, excuse me. Before we get on, it's still lower than they were before, but still expected to be good, which I think is great. I would actually not be surprised if we do get a number that's a little bit lower. It is expected to be lower, but I'm kind of waiting for a negative number in retail sales for CAD, just because, again, they have inflation as well. Everybody kind of deals with kind of the same stuff. So I do believe that is probably there, right? Coming somewhat soon. So we'll see, right? So something going on there. Definitely something going on. All right, let's go into the charts. I was looking at gold just to see kind of the pops out there. VIX. So VIX is up, but again, is it really up? Not really. It just closed over here, and that was kind of the, you can see inside of the range from yesterday. We kind of have a top side of about 2060, bottom side of about 1950. And again, remember the VIX is not necessarily supply and demand based. Not a supply and demand based, asset. It is a reading, a gauge of something else, almost like an indicator. But again, you can see we're kind of range bound. We're basically where we started, where we ended yesterday. So nothing really out of the ordinary. And you can see everything's a little bit red, but just barely, I mean, 0.1 to literally the lowest is 0.08 to 0.19. So less than 0.1 off everything. So not really trending. Commodities are all up today. So we'll see where we go with it. Anyway, here's the Aussie. So we have to make a little bit of a slight adjustment. So yesterday we were talking about this level here. And we talked about it being super, super close. We had an area. And right around 2:30 yesterday, we got the short. Right? It came in. And again, you knew at 2 o'clock. Again, here's where the news came out. It kind of spiked it back up again, right into a 23.6 level, and missed it just by like the littlest piece. You may or may not have gotten in on that one. But then we can adjust down, and we talked about 69.01. And you can see at really 3 o'clock this morning, European session open right here. Right? There's the European session open. We had this level mark from yesterday, the 69.01 or 69 flat. Boom. Took all the way back off again. So if you guys caught this in the European session, you guys are absolutely out of the trade right now. Right there. And 1 to 3. Didn't even need to go that far. 1 to 3 is right there. So you can see. Very quick trade. Now, we've turned around and we came back up again. 69.64 is up top. The 23.6 level was there. We knew the basing level. We had a confirmation. So this one is now kind of in play as well. And whoops. Let's pull that down. And 1 to 3 is right there. Okay. So again, we're about 2/3 of the way through. This should be a free trade for you right now. Probably won't need all that. We'll just put it right there. But that's where we're looking right now on the Aussie dollar. Again, a lot of play back and forth. Again, a lot of this is because of what we saw yesterday with FOMC. Is it good? Is it bad? Is it completely indifferent? Nobody really knows, right? That's really what it boils back down to, is people are not 100% sure. So again, right now, we're technically already in a trade, a little bit harder to get in. We're seeing dollar strength roll back in the U.S. session. Again, tends to be what we see. That's pretty normal. And again, European session straight up, profit taking and a rollover in a session opens, and we see a push back down. Question is, can we chunk through this last little bit here? It needs to go 11 more pips in the next 45 minutes. Absolutely can do that. Absolutely can do that. So again, that's always a nice little push at the open. And we'll see if we can get through. Yeah, 10 o'clock is home sale. So maybe home sales messes us up. Maybe it's not as bad as what we look. But at this point, right now, daily is helping this trade out a lot, bringing dollar strength back in. Okay. Aussie yen. So Aussie yen kind of, again, we were forecasting down. We went up to the 16.18. We pulled right back down again. Didn't really grab it in a great level. We were really looking for a basing level down here at 93.20. It kind of took off. European session sent the Aussie straight up again, and it went back to the old 50. I mean, it's not really a level we can use right now, but it kind of reversed back down again. So right now, I have to say more bearish thinking, right? More bearish thinking on this one. Only because the Aussie dollar, but are we in room? Do we have a setup anywhere? Not really. I mean, do we have buyers here? I mean, there was buyers here, but look, 1, 2, 3, got deeper each time. Be a little concerned about that one. This is that old level that was violated twice in there, so I'd be cautious about that. We know we got the racetrack. So for me right now, it's like, what do you do with this one? I think this one needs to stabilize itself, kind of, fold back down again and just, kind of a weird spot, right? Kind of a weird spot. So I'd say bearish sentiment on this one. Again, we're seeing a lot of yen movement in there. Yen strength come back into the market. Aussie yen, euro yen, pound yen, dollar yen, all in the red. So will this slow down? Probably. But I just don't have a great trade setup on it right now for Aussie yen. Euro dollar. So there's the euro dollar. I'm talking about chopping through multiple times in there. And again, kind of came in, kind of popped out. Again, we've been talking about getting short from this 23.6 level, right? If we pull this really just to the side and talk about the most recent kind of basing level in it, right? This was a zone, and again, one touch. This is 4. It broke here and then started to reestablish another level. If you had taken this here and said, okay, well, there's our new level, right? Price drove in from 3 o'clock in, right in time for news. Bring this right back on for news. And shrink this down to that level there. And 1 to 3 is right there. That's actually 3.06. So you can see that we are out. Again, another bit of that news coming through. Again, good dollar sentiment from that one. And again, we knew that we were kind of thinking bearish. Unfortunately, we were unable to hit the profit target. But once this came through and once it kind of burst through and started the base again, there was our most recent base. You still had the 23.6 people in there. There was your trigger. Again, it drove right up from the European Open up into news into a 30-minute level that was tested. Boom, straight back down again. And that was 50 pip mover. A 50 pip mover to the downside. So hopefully you guys are out on that 50. Now, I will say this 10117, we did mark this off yesterday being a 61.8 level. There was people coming in yesterday. Again, that little kind of, news kind of roll time there. I'd say be cautious of this basing in here. Now, I do think everything she said has been, again, good dollar strength news. But you can see at this point, since the original news came out, we're at 62 pips. Daily speaking should help us to go through. But we do have a bigger level here in that 61.8, kind of maybe a brick road here. And if we hit it and start to bounce, maybe it's like one of those bouncy balls where we spring down and then we take advantage of this parabolic move. Because this is, it's a pretty decent move. I don't need the bottom one. 14 pips is the ATR here, right? And we've moved... This move so far is, 3 times, almost 3 times. Yeah, over 3 times. So, yeah, so not in a single candle, but over that time frame. So, decent move, but hopefully, again, we're kind of out. We're looking for profit taking. If you want to take profit taking rather soon here, that's going to be where you take it. And again, this is why it's so important to understand when news is coming out and something like this, you're like, whoa, this is great. They're raising interest rates. That's a dollar strength thing. That's where you get this, okay? And again, the risk wasn't bad. It was 16 pips worth of risk, right? 16 pips for 50 in other direction. Gotta love those. Those are awesome trades. But again, I think we run into some basing, and we'll see. I don't think we can power through this in time for a reversal. For a 1030. There's a lot of factors getting ready to line up on this one, which may kind of inhibit it. But if you're not already in, it's a little bit late. So you guys should know that ahead of time. Here we go. All right, so at this point, I'm going to pull the 61.8 off. We don't really necessarily need this anymore. We came all the way up in, the 786. There's a zone there, but I'm going to pull it at this point. I don't need it. This one came up. You can see that it based right in that level. Came back higher, and let's see, where do we go with this now? It's funny, I just deleted that off, but there's a little Harry Potter. We talked about a break of this level. Yeah, we were sitting over here, and we talked about a break below this. Look at this right here. Pop down, base, pull back, grabbed it, and went. Again, not my favorite. All right, so yesterday, let's see. Yesterday we got in. Yesterday morning we were sitting up in here. God, we're basically right on top of it. What's the difference? That's just 41. Oh, it's your pound, that's why. Yeah, 6. I was going to say it's barely anything. Yeah, so... Let's clear a lot of these off. We're going to move the Harry Potter now. We don't need that because, again, kind of got the entry, right? Base, pullback, boom, down. I don't need it now. It did base in there again, but we're going to pull it. Let's pull this. Let's pull this. Let's see. There's our 3 right there. So European market down. Problem I had with this one is we did have the spike down, but we know why this happened. This was a new spike down for the reversal. So we knew that originally. There's nothing here. God, this one has a lot to go because of this like racetrack right here. Let's see. Where are we going to get some problems? You can see right there, there's a 50% pullback at 530. Well, the 530 candle went down. It's really the 6 o'clock candle is where we started. And again, this looks like you're like, oh, there's a great setup. Was it enough? No, it's 15 pips. 15 pips down. I would say if you were short this position, something along, something in there is kind of what I feel like we're needing. And here's the thing. We're talking about 25 pips. We're not talking about massive amounts of movement in this one. At this point, I don't even think we need this anymore. How high did we pull from there? Not to 78. Man, this was really, I wouldn't really say this is trending whatsoever. We're just literally retracing. So I would say, yeah, bearish thoughts on there, but there's only 20, 25 pips to the downside. So I just don't feel like it's a great setup. If anything, you could say right now, it looks like the pound is kind of leading ahead. It's a little bit stronger. That's about as best as it gets right now, is a little bit of strength coming out of the pound and the European weakness. And again, with this coming higher, I don't know. I feel like there's only a comment or two to go before this starts to kick back up again, kind of just more sideways. So just not enough movement. All right, so here we go. Yesterday we talked about a potential Harry Potter, a break through the top of 137.72, and you can see this is not the entry. When it pops up and then the next candle slices back down again, not the entry. But what we did get in here was a failure to go higher, right? We see this here. So if we move this up and box this level off and say, well, wait a second, there's our top, there's our confirmation. Uh-oh. All of a sudden at 4 o'clock this morning, 3 o'clock, you got this pop up. The story changed. Okay. Right. So we did not get the breakthrough, but we got a new level. We got a new level of sellers coming in and establishing. And there's where they came in at right around that 4 o'clock window. And really kind of it just held, it maintained and stabilized and held. But, buddy. Hello, buddy. What are you doing? We have Kipster now for the next half hour. Melissa has a client appointment this morning. But anyway, here is, again, if you guys have taken this one, this was a nice little top, right? Nope, you could not grab my coffee. I'm drawing the line right there. No, we just crossed through the 1 to 3. Here. Want this? Ooh, spoon. Yeah. Anyway, people always ask, get questions like, well, how, I don't want to stay up at night. Like, I don't want to wake up in the middle of the night. How do I trade this European Open? Well, if you look over here, this really turned around at noon and then kind of stabilized. This little push right here in the yen down, this was FOMC. So, I mean, this happened at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. As you roll through, here's 4 o'clock in the afternoon, market ended. Over here is 8, 9 o'clock at night. Obviously, this pattern was in. There was something in there. This is one of those ones you could have done a set and forget, right? And you can see it came through and tagged it. So this is where you wake up and you're like, oh my God, look at this. I just banked 66 pips on this one, right? So again, nice push down. Right now, this turns into a profit target, right? This turns into a profit target of 136.41. There's a little bit of chopped back and forth in here, but I think that's a decent target for right now. Question is, again, at 10:30, do we reverse off of that? If we can hit it and bounce and put this pattern, but flip it upside down over here, then that makes a lot of sense of where we would look for a reversal. See a little bit of weakness maybe coming in with the yen. Because right now, yen is not doing horribly bad, right? pretty much against everything. The yen is doing well. So yeah, pound dollar. Pound dollar's pullback. You know, if we drive this all the way down, and again, this is the bigger grand scheme of things. Again, we saw the position here. We talked about the two knockouts. Let's pull those off now, just so we can analyze this a little bit better. You can see that FOMC really kind of drove this up and then said, wait, never mind, and drove it right back down. So it kind of disappeared very, very quickly. When we bring it up, you can see there was a 23, and just like the same pattern that we talked about. Buddy, what are you doing? Here's your pattern. And again, right there is your pattern, right? 530, drove it straight in. And again, you could have taken it from here. You could have said, well, wait a second. What about this level right here? Yes, you could have taken it off that one too. Either one of them was fine. What? 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 Where's your spoon? Where's your spoon? Hold on, guys. Let me give him a spoon real quick. Oh, you're going to pull the thing out. Let's wrap around your leg. Here you go, buddy. There we go. Where's your spoon? Where'd it go? Here. Here's your spoon. There's your spoon. So either one of these two works. Again, when you see something like this could have been your trigger, but then immediately you want to kind of shrink your risk down a little. So had you taken the big, the big zone there, let's see. Yeah, it's about 22 pips on that one. And then 1 to 3 is sitting right there. So you can see a little bit deep. We would expect buyers to come in right here, right? So that's one of those ones where it's kind of like, once we had this top in there, yes, that could have been your entry. And then when you shrink this back up into this range, you can see that we are out for a 45 pip gainer, right? So once we hit that, you're like, oh, yeah. And then goes from there. So either way, but we'll pull it back up again just for the big one for some of you that are more of the set and forget style. 1 to 3 is right there. So super, super close. Not going to be surprised. Like I said, I know why it's having a hard time. This is a level in the past we've dealt with, but again, you can see right here, 1, 2, 3, 4 is broken. It should push us a little bit lower and get you out of the trade. And again, we got about 33 minutes before reversal time. So more than enough. What are you doing? Yeah? You banging my chair with the spoon? We should see it continue to push down a bit. But again, right now it's like, oh, what do we do? Do we get long? It's already in. It's already in. All right, so this guy. So we talked about a reversal, and again, right at 10 o'clock yesterday, we came up and grabbed it. It pushed down, and look at this. It based right in that level, right? Pushed down, kind of came back up and is going lower. We mentioned here that we had 1, 2, and actually we got our 3 hit here, and there's your 4. Pound yen, this one's a hard one right now because we are seeing yen strength. We're seeing a little bit of pound weakness, so it's kind of like, I don't know. I feel like this one is due. I'd love for it to come back down and reset at the 160. I think that's really where it needs to be. But we talked about it coming back down again, and we talked about different levels and what profit targets look like yesterday in it. The 50 doesn't line up with anything. The 61.8 has something, but it's a bit lower there, and that's a lot of momentum back down. So yesterday the sentiment was bearish. We are obviously bearish. It's down about 55 pips from where it was yesterday. Actually, I guess it's 106 in the last 24 hours. So again, sentiment was right. It just, if you didn't grab this open, it's just been kind of choppy, and then again, it's going back and finding some tested levels. But pound yen is one of those ones that's just kind of weird right now. So I think it's like the week leading the week, and there's a little bit of we haven't heard too much data out of China in the last 24 hours. So I would say my outlook on this one right now is also bearish. But what? Here, you're looking for something else to bang? Here, bang on this. There, bang on that too. So yeah, dollar CAD basically flat. 0.01. Over here you can see it's like this. 0, -6, 3. A little boring. Yesterday we talked about 129.41, and let's see. FOMC kicked in here, drove it straight up, grabbed that zone at 129.41, and right back down again. So this trade is also out, and we're rallying back up to it. I don't think I would use it again, but those of you that, again, here's the European session open. Again, European session, great time to trade. Right there. There's 2.9. So basically 3. You can see it went well past. So some of you will be like, no, it's not 3. There is 304. right? So you can see well past, and again, grab profit exactly where it should have on that level. Now, this is a level we'll mark off. All right, we're going to mark this level right here. All right, I'm going to put it as a yellow, just as kind of a, don't forget, there was a zone here, and we've also tagged that zone twice, so we know there's buyers there. So if we do look for another short, this all of a sudden becomes a profit-taking level, right? 128.81. Mark it off. I don't know that I want to currently use it right now. I wouldn't say that it is a level set up yet, but if we do, again, get into another top or some type of a confirmation short in here, it is a level that we would look to, you know, look as a place that we would want to take money off the table, if that makes sense. But again, the 129.41, if you were here yesterday, you knew that this was a level we were looking for, got in front run a few times. And again, being associated with a push right into the 3 o'clock open, you got to be a fan of that, right? Whoops. Okay. What are you doing, Kip? Hold on. One sec, guys. Kip, what are you doing? Sorry, he's trying to figure out what he's trying to get into here. All right, it's not dangerous. That's how I justify everything. Like, is it dangerous? Is it not dangerous? Is he going to hurt himself? Yes. Bang, bang. Bang, bang. Anything that makes noise, he's into it. So anyway, with a big rally up, no trade right now. If it comes up to the 129.41, there could be a potential reversal off of that. Where the zone originally was, this is really kind of hit 2, right? Hit 2-ish, 3-ish. So it's kind of it's not your first time that it's been through the level, but it's not like it's your 4th time through. So just keep that on your radar. In the next 30 minutes, if we can rally back up just a little bit more, it's only about 15 pips, so we can absolutely get there. That could be an opportunity where we look for a slowdown and a reversal back down again as we see some tempering of the U.S. dollar, right? Now, dollar Swiss, yeah, so we were here yesterday, 9:30, 10 o'clock. We talked about the 61.8 level, and you can see the 10:30 is where we kind of came up to it and dropped all the way back down again. And it did the same thing again, and it did the same thing again. So it's not really an area where we're looking for sells. Yesterday it was kind of like, yeah, it's not great. But again, 40 pips down, 40 pips down, and now we're back at the same level again. Now, we do know there's a level just a little bit higher, and I would say that this one is kind of similar to what we're seeing with the dollar CAD. Having, again, dollar CAD rallying back up into an area of sellers, looking at dollar Swiss rallying back up into an area of sellers. And again, it's not fresh. They've hit the 61.8, but there's another basing level right above. And then also seeing the dollar also rallying back up again into an area where it's kind of hard because it's not. Oh my God, Kip, really? It's a spike is really what it is. You're seeing it rally here on the dollar index as well. They're all kind of getting set up in the same possible way, right? Where we're looking for short opportunities. All right. That one was good. It just didn't get back that low. I'll leave it there for right now. One sec. 0.9500. Right. There we go. All right, so 0.95. You can see, look at this. 0.95, 0.95, 0.95, right? It's a big level, right? Again, here, and we got a level backstop in it. So, yeah, a lot of play back and forth. Yesterday it was kind of like, a lot of chop. Had to be front run, and again, boom, boom, and now we're there again. So, do what you want with it, but I think this one we start looking for it to turn and roll back down again, especially because of the Eurozone inflation, that's going to come up again. So, yesterday, we drew these two levels. We talked about 10 o'clock right here. All we did was roll back down again. At FOMC time, we hit the 134.69. We kind of popped off of it. Late at night, we went back over. We grabbed the top side again, and we pushed back down again, and we grabbed the bottom level again at 8 o'clock, and now we're rallying back up and all around 135. So, yesterday we talked about this one's a little bit harder. It was a 40 or 50 pip zone back and forth. But, yeah. So, 10:30 is right there. So we talked about reversals in this one, and literally bang, 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 and now it's going back up again. So do what you want with it. Again, high on the curve. 135 is a little bit high, but remember, we just had a lot of statements like, yep, we're going to keep raising interest rates. That all looks good. So it's strong dollar versus strong yen right now. I think they both kind of get weak at the same time, but I don't know if the dollar weakness is going to outpace the yen weakness on this one. you can see that this one right now, it's going crazy, minus 16 pips, but rallying up right in the last 24 hours. So yeah, I mean we're not far off from it, but yeah, take it for what it's worth. Like I said, a little more challenging to trade right now because it's kind of both factors. It's like, is it good? Is it bad? They're raising interest rates, but unemployment is down. Let's see, what did housing do? Yeah, housing was a little bit worse than expected. So, well, a 20-year-old student acquires 6% of Bed Bath & Beyond. Yeah. I just don't know if there'll be time. Filling to dump its entire... Oh, filing. Right, story is about 20-year-old student, Jake Freeman, who was... Okay, good for him. Good for him. Wait, how much? He made 110... What does that say? Yeah, makes 110 million in 3 weeks. Yeah, go kid. I did, just for transparency, I did not make $110 million in 3 weeks, but yeah, I got kids. But good for him. Did it say what he did? Did he do an options? He probably did options. Calls. Oh, not curious. How did he do it? Let's see. At under 550 shares. So yeah. Now, did he mention? Which announced it in G3, less than a week later, sold his entire stake thanks to insert stock squeeze. Oh, okay. Yeah, it was a quick in and out. Let's see. Interesting. Go kid. Helps when you know people. So yeah. Anyway, you can see cryptos, they're more or less flat. They took that big drop to the downside, and they're just kind of standing there. We knew yesterday, we talked about how, listen, there's an area of buyers right here, nice large pop it, and that's exactly what we bounced off of, and we're kind of hitting the top. Ethereum looks exactly the same. I mean, that's where we drew it yesterday. There's 1030. We hit it. We reversed off of it 1030. It kind of pulled higher. Trying to find more sellers, and again, we're looking for a big push down once it breaks through that level. Doji, the exact same thing, although this one kind of stabilized right in the middle. This one wasn't as clear, but it looks exactly the same, just on a smaller time frame, as it continues to drop lower, coming back down to the 750 mark. Oil. So there's what we got with oil. So I marked this one off yesterday. Absolutely hysterical. Here's where the news came out. Absolutely huge miss, right? Minus 7 million barrels. And what did it do? All the way back down again, grabbed our zone at $86.16. This just cracks me up. I absolutely love this. Buddy, what? What are you doing? Oh, you got the flashlight? I love this. This just, again, once again, just further proof that, markets like oil are absolutely so manipulated. If you don't know that, that's on you. Does that mean don't play them? Absolutely not. It just means that you have to know what you're doing. Again, use the manipulation. There's nothing wrong with it. I mean, just acknowledge that, hey, listen, it's there. I acknowledge it. And what do? Figure out how to trade it. I mean, literally, price was driven up in time for news. Monstrous data where everybody's like, that's it, go long. And then, bam, they lose all their money. It goes back down to an area where buyers come back in again. And the eventual target, a day later, all the way back up. And we've actually, from that push down, we've tagged the 78.6. So, gotta love it. Right now, I would say look for a bit of a reversal. There's probably something going on right here, as well as we have another level. And again, this is the 50 and 61.8. So we know there's two levels coming up here. And the Europeans have more or less, European markets started right here, are also doing the same thing, kind of sending it straight up in the air. What? It's hard to talk when I just hear you whining. Yeah, what you doing? I gave you all the fun toys. You have all the fun toys, buddy. Yeah. Here, you want this bowl? What's this? What? I don't know if you guys can hear him or not, but I can hear him. The noise canceling software works pretty well. But anyway, I'd look for a reversal. I think there's potential selling coming in at 90.11, right around that $90 mark as we kind of pop through and chop. Just because, again, it is pushed out. We will see some profit taking, kind of what we saw yesterday. Not to the same extent, but again, we're getting up to an area with 90s. Again, having unemployment be not as bad obviously helps. But then looking at something like housing, it's like, oh, this is a big deal, right? Home sales are a big deal when you start messing with people's houses. Yeah, look, they retreated 5.9%. Yeah, so they're going backwards. Just showing us that there's more problems. And again, right now people are still getting paid, but the housing thing is, yeah, cause for concern. All right, but two levels, one at 90, 91.15, and another one at 90.11. Really kind of just a dollar apart from each other. But I would look for a turn and roll back down again. Natural gas kind of stabilizing, right? We talked about this one. I had a very hard, yesterday we were sitting actually probably right here. Yeah, right here is where we were yesterday. And I said, yeah, it's a 23.6. You have some people getting in. It kind of rode that level and kind of pushed back up and then kind of went right back down again. I just have a very hard time getting short natural gas. It's one of those things right now. Like I said, it's a geopolitical headline. We're turning it off. We don't have enough. What type of alternative methods we're going to freeze, right? There's so many different kind of, contexts out there. I just think that, I don't think the Ukrainian war is going to be over before Christmas. I think it continues to rally on. I don't know. Put it this way, I think that it's kind of disappeared from the headlines now. We don't really, used to be like, oh, this guy threw a bottle. This guy did this. Now we're like, there's like nothing over here, right? Turkey surprises markets with a rate cut despite inflation near 80%. It's because Turkey has lots of problems. Lots of problems. But look at that. Inflation at 80%. Yeah. Yeah, you want to see a major problem? Turkey. I think election time we're going to start hearing a lot more. Yeah, you can hear him, Debbie. Yeah. He's doing a lot of grunting. Nya, 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 nya. Ba, ba, ba. I think as we get closer to election, I think people are purposely being quiet right now. I think it's a very sensitive subject right now. I think we're going to hear a lot more about it, and particularly what I think we're going to hear is kind of, I don't want to say, I don't know, it's not the domestic agenda, but at the same time, it's kind of the domestic agenda. The amount of billions that we have now thrown, which really haven't done anything. Right. Yes, I guess we're blowing up a lot of Russian stuff. We're destroying lots of tanks and stuff like that. Got it. Russia's bad. Russia's bad. But how many billions will they throw into it? And then you look at some of the problems we have at home. Right. There's many things like if Russia is so bad, Russia has oil. If you want to make the world independent, what if they took what if they, instead of sending $8 billion worth of weapons across, which is basically us fighting the war, right? What if we only did half that? What if we did $4 billion and then we put $4 billion into alternative energy investment, right? OPEC is now saying, hey, listen, the Ukraine war has nothing to do with the price and the inflation in oil right now. It's not OPEC's problem either. It's the fact that it has had zero investment in the last 20 years because everybody wants to kill oil. There's been, and again, that's, everybody says that. The underinvestment, there's no investment, there's no, everything is trying to get away from oil. You don't put money into oil because everybody knows it's an industry that they're trying to kill off, right? He said that's why we have the problems right now. What if we took $4 billion and invested in something else, right? Maybe it's natural gas. I don't know. Maybe it's solar. Maybe it's how to generate wind. Maybe it's how to take advantage of, is there a way that we can take advantage of all the problems we have with global warming right now or the climate change or whatever? Can we use that to be able to figure out how to generate more energy in a clean manner, right? I feel like with $4 billion, there are some people out there who would get into that piece of pie. So I feel like natural gas is still going to be a geopolitical arena. And I think as we get closer to elections, I think people are going to talk about how much money is actually being spent and sent overseas. And I think people are going to say, hey, you know what? The entire bailout of the banking industry was this many billions, and we've already sent more than that across. I think people are going to look at that and be like, and start scratching their heads about it. So I think natural gas will become a hot button again. So for me, shorting this, I think is a little bit dangerous. 23.6 level, you can see didn't have a huge explosion off of it. I think it pulls back a little bit, but if it finds buyers here or here, I think this is a buy either way. Okay. Gold. So gold, we rode the train down. We rode the train down. We rode the train down. Yesterday morning, we pushed it farther down. 8:30 yesterday morning, we started to pull up, and all of a sudden we got this little hiccup here, and it popped up. Why? because they had that Dover's response. And then it was like, well, maybe not as bad as we thought. And now it's kind of stabilizing lower. So gold right now, I would say overall, with the comments we've heard today, is still a short. Again, there's been slight pullbacks and things like this where you get a big pop up again. I think we're just more reason why to short it. The Fed has said it's going to be a long haul. It's not going to be, we can't put it this way. If they conquered it in two rate hikes, it shows their level of incompetency is even higher than people originally thought, because they're talking about this is going to be a 2-year process. And if you did it in less than 2 quarters, why are you telling us it's 2 years, right? What are you talking about? Like, what should we believe anything that comes out of your mouth? And they have to have some type of credibility. So I do believe they're going to continue to raise. I think crushing inflation is still important. On a fundamental level, I do think this is a short. Love it for shorts at 1,800 a lot more than I love it down here. And actually, let's look at the most recent kind of push on this one. You can see there's a zone right there, but it's already kind of too late for us now. Question is, and there's the target we talked about yesterday. We went right below it. We went down to 59. So it went $1 past. Probably down here. We've hit this a few times. I think this is an important number to watch out for. 1755.12. I'm sorry, 19 is probably the next target. Like I said, buyer saved it here, saved it here, saved it here, saved it here, coming down again. That's kind of hit number 4 through there. Actually, I guess that's hit number 5. Kind of hit number 5. Do we want to tangle with that one? I don't know if we step in now. I think it goes low, but we're not at a place where we're willing to step in. Maybe if we get a pullback, maybe if we come back up to 1771, depending on what's happening news-wise, maybe we look for a short. Again, we're getting late in the week on this one. But I mentioned earlier, so what is it? The 14th? Right here is where we ended the week. Do I have one of these for the week? I'm going to put that one right there. 14 is right there. So we talked about week-long positions. Oops, I don't want to spin around. Talked about week-long positions. That's the week-long position right now from last week, right? So we're kind of rolling into that right now. We've pushed down. But again, overall for a week-long position, hasn't been a bad trade, right? We opened, we gapped up, 1,800. We knew it was big, red, green, red. Rolled all the way down, and what are we down? $40 in the week, right? $40 move to the downside, so not a bad little short there. Okay, we'll see where we end the week right now. I'm really curious to see what some of the punches look through, but I think this one has continued room to the downside. Just right here, it's not really a great entry. We're wait for a pullback, right? Wait for a pullback. Now Silver's kind of doing the same thing. Actually, silver, let's bring this down to here. And you can see it kind of had the same area. We talked about 20. It missed it by just a little bit. It got to 1994. So we kind of missed it by just a little tiny bit on the way down. But you could have said, well, wait a second. There's a zone there. Look at this. It's a one top base. And you would have been fine with a short. Overall, I think downside 1932 is kind of still where we're looking for. We have hit this one twice now and driven deeper. I think the next time we come through this zone, and we knew that it already sliced through once, I think we get a big push, and there's kind of a racetrack there. I'd like to see where this new level is. Maybe it's forming right here, right? We got the base here. It base in the top, came through, base in the bottom, and then, again, these two match up. Maybe, there's a potential kind of Harry Potter play right here. Let's see what we got. 1 to 3 is right. Oh, I had it dead on. Right there. Oh, that's actually plenty. So yeah, there is actually a 1 to 3 sitting down here that we do have room to run, and it looks like it's a break of 1958, taking it all the way down to 1932. Again, if you like silver, this could be something. And again, I don't know if we'll break it this week. Being that we're getting close to the end of the week, we'll see. Right? So. it's there. It's there. All right, let's go over and let's look at some of these. Twitter, again, look at that. We took the bounce off this level yesterday, right? We came down at 10:30, hit it, and bounced right off of it, and we're kind of sitting there again today, so Twitter may get a little bit of help in there. Apple, again, we talked about 175 being a big level. It peaked its head up yesterday and started to pull back, and it's now dropping down. But there is some stabilization coming in for Apple here as well. Not fresh, hit 3 times already, but again, it gapped into it and is now taken off again, so there's still some. So again, probably a little bit more downside, and then 175 would be something to break. This one, you can see it right here. Parallel channel, right? So looking at this, yeah, there is some stuff going on right there, although pushed it pretty deep. If Tesla breaks through 900, I think Tesla has the ability to come down to this like 865, probably down to here. 880, I'd say these would be my 2 kind of downside targets. 880 and 866. So some interesting play there. I don't know who that is. All right. Who the heck is Eric Smith? I know an Adam Smith, but I don't know an Eric Smith. Who the heck is Eric Smith? Is Eric Smith a real person? I don't know. Getting a phone call, I'm like, I don't typically answer unless when it's a bunch of numbers, I never answer it because it's never like a real phone call. But then when somebody with real caller ID, it's like, do I know Eric Smith? I feel like, I'm like, I don't know. I'm not answering it, obviously, but. No, I think it's a fake call. I don't think I know anybody by that one. Area code 770. Anybody know offhand where area code 770 is? I have no idea where that is. But it's probably not a real person. I don't answer those. All right, so let's see. VIX doing a little bit of a pop lower than it was. Let's see what we had at the open, if there was anything here on the 15-minute charts for today. 930, right there. No. All right, we had pulled back down again. It's already kind of a little bit lower. 3 tests, not really. There was a kind of a 1030 position in this one, this old level here, but no, nothing in this one. Yeah, we opened right here, and again, not in a level. All right. 3, 8, yeah, no level. If anything, if you were looking for something off the indices, I would say that something right there, but what? I'm going to come up here, mister. I'm going to be walking soon. Debbie, he's doing the, he does like the stand up and like he'll take like kind of like a walk. Atlanta, but with number, they could be anywhere. Yeah, no. Yeah, I don't know anybody in Atlanta. Not that would call me. Not with the last name of Smith, I don't think Will lives there, and Will changes his number so often when he calls me. I don't know any other Smiths. I know an Adam Smith, that's it, but not an Eric, and he's not from Atlanta. I don't know, maybe, I don't know. Who knows? Anyway, no opening print setup for ES. Let's look at NQ. NQ was in a similar place right here. Again, it had pushed lower. Again, it was beyond the zone, so no, it was also not in a zone. Again, there was a zone down there with confirmation, so kind of the same setup if you were looking for that reversal, and it did hit at 10 o'clock. There was it looks like there is a long position that you could have triggered. But as far as opening print, no, it would not have been an opening print setup today. This week has been tough on opening prints. Can't lie. Right there. So again, you can see the 1 to 3 is actually out from that zone. And it was a double, one confirmation and then, first push out of it. So yeah, not an opening print though. So 0-2 in opening prints. And again, data kind of, obviously to this morning's data was kind of like, whoa, that's good, right? I think that surprised a lot of people. So, yeah. So, I mean, there could have been a trade. You could have taken this NQ trade, but not an opening print. YM, let's see what we got here. This is an old level that we talked top, based out of the top as well. Let's remove it. Let's pull this out. Yeah, see, it's already dropped and based in here, and then 930 is right here. So, didn't trigger there either. God. And then there's a Global X trap right here. I'd say YM as well, but again, 8 o'clock, 8:30 held here. I don't know if you guys can see this or not. Here, I'll blow this up big so you can see it. right there. What? What do you want? Yeah, mister, you eating something? Is there something in your mouth? No? I marked that off just because a lot of people are like, what do you mean this? What do you mean red, green, red? Like, what are you talking about? There's your red, green, red confirmation at the top. So here, take this one. You already broke this microphone. Take this. There we go. 9:30 candle is right here. 9:15, 9:30. It's right here. Is it in a zone? Nope, it's not. Again, a lot of the data that we had coming off this was really, really good today. So you expected it, but here you go. Red, green, red. He's getting ready to take off. Yeah, Debbie. So he stands up and he'll take like 1 or 2 steps because he's like too far away. So I'm convinced in the next month he will actually be walking. But he does like to stand up now, and he kind of does the sideways thing. Like he can take some steps and kind of go sideways. So within the next month, I'm pretty sure that he'll be walking. Like I said, he's got his 4 top teeth and maybe a 5th one coming in, his bottom 2, and he's going to be walking. So he's going to be a terror on wheels pretty soon. So yeah. Terran Willis. But anyway, guys, there's the top. There's the red, green, red confirmation on that one with news justifying it. But I've got to tell you, opening print, no, not a good one. Right? It was halfway through the retracement. So is what it is. Russell 930, same thing. Look, it's a pullback low. Russell did go lower, but I wouldn't say that this was an area. I would say that, if anything, you could have used this, but we didn't make it that far down. So, yeah, didn't make it that far down. So would not have been opening print, but the same thing. I mean, I'll just mark it off. Might as well, right? At the top, again, you like it the other way. There's your red, there's your green, and right there. For those of you that are curious about what color changes are, right there. Red, green, doesn't go as high. Red close below. There's your trigger that the trend has reversed, right? All right. And again, here's one too, right? There's a red, there's a green, but typically, when there's a little bit of gap there off hours, it's not really the best to do it in something Rick Russell. But again, this one would have broke, right? This one would have broke. This one took off. But here's a red, here's a green, here's a red. Pull back, didn't close as low, and then boom, take off, right? So you'll see it a lot of times. And again, we're only 15 minutes, so it's smaller. But all right, so that's it for today. Like I said, opening prints haven't been nice, but the news we've had every morning, we've had news at 8:30, which has been kind of moving for the day. Odd that we have that many 8:30s in a row that are all substantial. Like, again, Monday we started off with a monstrous Empire State miss, right? Tuesday we had all the CAD data, and we had, that was about the only day that we did have a good day. And this one we had the 8:30 retail sales, which again, people are like, what do we do with this? Today we had these numbers where it's like, oh my God, this is great. So it's been a lot of 8:30 releases for the week. So always makes it a little bit harder. So all right. So with that said, let's go ahead and do the drawing over here. We got 6 people and we're missing one. Who do we got? Oh, we're missing Sean. Sean's not in today. Sean, is Sean here today? Eki is in. I don't see Sean today. Maybe Sean is not here today. Maybe Sean's taking the day off. Maybe it's one of those rare days where it's 70 degrees in Michigan. I know he said it was rainy and 60 earlier this week. Maybe it's like one of those, like, we hit 80 in August days in Michigan. So maybe Sean is partying it up today. Anyway, we'll close it down. Ernest won yesterday. All right, so Ernest will be going for 100. Everybody else is 25. Winner of today's drawing is Ernest. How did he win that? Oh, man, you guys gave it to him again. There was like, I tried. But again, it's a team effort, guys. Teamwork is what makes the dream work, right? Teamwork is what makes the dream work. So again, I think actually it's been a while since. What? Here, you want my phone? Here. Is that what you want? Oh, now you're happy, Mr. Grumpy Boy. It's been a while since Ernest has gotten 2 in a row. I feel like Ernest has been on the opposite end of the doubles. I feel like he's been doing a lot of singles, but the doubles are not there. So Neuro is the king of the triples at this point. He goes in with the big blind. But yeah, so overall, I mean, look, we're still at 0, 5, 10, 18 is nothing, 26 on this one. We know what's going on. Again, this is down dollar strength. This is really yen strength, but the dollar's rallying back up again. Dollar strength barely. This is flat. Let's see if we do this real quick. Yeah, see? We don't need 15 minutes. You can get down on 30. We know we got to level up. It's already starting to like kind of put that top. It's like, oh, we're going to push. So again, guys, 10:30, right? 10:30. Where are we at with this one? That's officially out now. You guys can see that that one is out from this morning. So you're out there. The euro out, and look at this. We talked about the 61. Look at that. A bounce right off the 61. This one officially out and now kicking back. Dollar CAD slowing down. It did make it all the way up. Dollar Swiss. Oh, we touched the 95.48 at 10:30. Are we going to see this turn and roll? Could be, could be. And then dollar yen obviously having a little bit of a harder time in the middle. So interesting places right now. So a lot of stuff going on at 10:30. All right, with that said, I'm out of here. I'll catch you guys tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. Eastern. Thank you for joining me today, and I'll see you tomorrow. Yeah, everybody take care. Have a good trading day.